Be all that you can be. You accumulate mentors. I joined a lot of accelerator groups, a lot of mentor groups. I did a lot. You have to put yourself out there and network. What I did do was become the CEO of my own company.
If we were friends in high school, who was Kat Ramirez, and why did you decide to join the military?
Okay, I love this. I was a smarty pants, so I was really an introvert, which is strange in high school, and I was very much a bookworm. And the military was always a part of the plan. I don't know why. It's not like I have immediate family that were in the military, and that was how I was influenced. I'm going to be honest, I was influenced by the commercial. Be all that you can be. I don't know why, but I was absorbed by it as a child. And so when I was a little girl, I always thought, I'm going to be all I can be. And I'm going to join the military. And I originally thought I was going to join the Marines. And when it was time to enlist, when I talked to a Marine recruiter, he said, little girl, you want to go over here to the Air Force. And he connected me to the Air Force recruiter, and that's how I got into the Air Force.
So that must have been before they had quotas, because I know they probably wouldn't turn you away today.
That's funny. But you know what? I thank him because I really enjoyed the Air Force. I don't know what the difference would have been, but I did enjoy the Air Force, and I enjoy, what I did and the people I met, and just think my whole world would have been totally different if things would have happened differently.
Sure. What did you do while you were in, and where were you stationed?
I was stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base, so it was a SAC base. It was Minuteman missiles, so I worked on the silos. I worked on missiles. So the two guys that went down the silos that turned the keys, I worked alongside them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was a 3-on, 3-off job for 4 years, and it was nice. You just had that routine, right? The 3 days I was owned. That I didn't go anywhere. It was in confinement, right? And then 3 days off.
So, going through your experience, was it, did you decide to get out, or did you have other plans, and why you
Yeah.
got out?
No, and that's a great question because when I went in going guns ablaze. Just like I think I do that with anything I start or go into. Is I'm like guns ablaze, and I'm going to do this all the way. And I was going to retire Air Force. But I think what happens is once you get into or you start doing whatever it is that you set yourself out to be, you make pivots based on your experiences and your opportunities. So the opportunity for me was I was almost finished with my bachelor's degree. I think I had a year left. And I was like, you know what? I like this college education thing. I think that I am going to not stay with the Air Force, and I think I'm going to get out and go. And I was going to be an attorney. I was going to go to law school. I was going to go, because I had that GI Bill. So I was like, I'm just going to go full guns blazing over here. And what happened was when I turned in my notification, I got orders to go to Italy. So they were like, are you sure you want to get out? We got Italy here. And I was like, Italy looks really good. But once I made up my mind, there was no turning back. I was, that was the whole reason I joined the military was I wanted to travel the world, and I was stuck in Whiteman Air Force Base. I don't regret it. I love it. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, and I got my education. I stayed really focused. But I knew I wanted more education. I knew it.
So, did you end up doing your law degree, or I
No.
know you got into the media side. How'd you get into the uh,
Yep.
broadcast media?
So of course I fell in love with another soldier. So I followed him back home. So I finished my education. Got out. I stayed, finished my education, and then followed him to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I signed up and enrolled in the University of Tennessee when Peyton Manning was there,
There you
and
go.
that's how old I am. And
No
so
one's
I was,
judging.
huh? Yeah,
No
thanks.
one's judging.
Thanks. So I think I got about halfway to my MBA in University of Tennessee. And what happened was I just got an awesome job, and that's when I got into media. And when I got that job, I thought I don't need any more education. I got an awesome job, and I loved that job. And I was like, I hate to abandon, the education, but I don't need it at this point, you know?
Absolutely. So, after media, I know you moved around to a few different companies, and one of the questions that topics that comes up a lot for us is how does a veteran start their own business? What for you, what's a good first step for a veteran who's looking
Yep.
to start their own business?
I think the first thing is if you have the foundation to be in charge, right? To be in charge and to lead, don't doubt yourself because I think the best business owners are people that can make decisions, that can create strategy, and they can lead. So if you can do a couple of those things, and some of those are trainable, right? Trainable and coachable. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is I never thought I was ever, ever, ever going to be an entrepreneur. Never. My father was an entrepreneur. My mother was an entrepreneur. And I never, ever like woke up and I thought, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I never thought it. So when it happened, I was scared just like anybody else. I'm like, can I do this? Is this going to work? But guess what? Once you get in that seat and you do what you're going to do, there's no turning back. It's so fluid. It just goes. It just, and you just have to have that positive mind. And a lot of veterans have that resilience, right? Resilience, persistence, where they're not going to give up. They're going to keep going and going. They're going to be fluid. And that's all you need to survive. That's it. Because if you look at the statistics, I think businesses 50% in the first year fail and then 95% within 5. If you pass those, and I knew the statistics and I was like aiming for them. I'm like, okay, yay, got my first year. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, we're at 4 years, one more year, and then I'm going to be past this. And it literally is true because those are all the tough times. Those are the tough times. And if you can get beyond that and you can solve problems, you can do it. You just have to be resourceful and you have to be able to accept people guiding you or mentoring you, because again, don't think I think the people that do it's my way, the highway, they're not as flexible and fluid and you're saying that you know it all. Nobody knows it all. Nobody. I don't even know it all. And I know.
Sure.
And
I
I'm
think
learning every day.
Yeah, and you brought up mentor. Is Was there someone in your life that you looked up to or that made a big impact on your entrepreneurial path?
Yeah, I had a lot of mentors, and I think that you accumulate mentors. So a lot of my mentors were people that I reached out to that had businesses, right? That I knew in my media days. So I would reach out to them. Hey, I'm doing this. I have a problem. This has come up. What would you do? And people are gracious. People are very, very gracious. So I really leaned on the people I knew, right, in my previous life where I was calling on businesses. And I think they like that and they respected me for that, because it's kind of shows like, you don't know it all and you respect that person for asking them for help, right? And then the other thing I joined a lot of accelerator groups, a lot of mentor groups. I did a lot because I wanted to surround myself with other people that were starting out. I did the bunker labs. I did a lot. And I really got to meet a lot of other entrepreneurs just like me. And again, you're calling each other and saying, hey, did you ever run into this? What would you do with this? And leaning on each other. Or they connect you to someone, say, Kat, I know somebody who can help you with that, you know?
Sure. And that brings up another topic for networking. I mean, I've met some of my best relationships in business personally, just through getting out there and networking with people. Like you were saying, just people are gracious, but not enough
Yep.
people ask for help. What sort of, I mean, that made a huge impact on your business, obviously, with getting out there and networking with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people would be surprised of the people that you reach out to that would help you. You know what I mean? Like, don't answer for them, because like I would always just go above and beyond, and if there was a person that I knew could help me or that I could ask for help, I was just going to push it and ask. I didn't care if they were the CEO of Amazon or whatever. Not that I reached out to Jeff Bezos and he gave me any help. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there are people out there that we think, oh, I'm not going to bother them. I would say bother them. They want to be bothered. They want to help you. If they don't, then they're not going to answer. But they don't mind helping people. I think our community is just awesome, and it's reaching out and lending itself. But it's like you said, you have to put yourself out there and network. You got to meet these people, right, in order to be able to ask for help. And people are very, very gracious. I've never had anyone where I reached out to said, no, I'm not going to help you, Kat. No, never. You know what I mean? I never had that. And again, people are great. They want you to succeed, you know, even competitors. I used to talk to a lot of competitors. They want you to succeed. There's no threat. There's enough business out there for everybody, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, that's what our country was built on: free enterprise and
Yeah.
small business.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love your perseverance, and like, we've had a couple different conversations already, but um, as a woman entrepreneur, I'm sure there's challenges and uphill battles that you had to fight as a woman entrepreneur. What were some of those challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. I would say probably now if we talk about like my second venture, right, 10x or not 10x, I'm sorry, Golfing Buddy. My biggest challenge with Golfing Buddy is for people to take me seriously because I'm a female, right? It's a golfing, social network, and just like the PGA guy. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on him because he did say some great things, and I clipped it. But like he made an assumption. He's like, oh, that's gonna be great for women. Yeah, Kat, that's gonna be awesome. Those ladies are gonna sign up and they're gonna play more golf. Yeah. And then, when I told him the facts, well, men are signing up, you know. So it's like, it's almost like they made an assumption that, oh, you made this for women and all women are going to sign up, when in reality it's men. So there's a lot of judgment, unfortunately. And right now, my biggest thing is going after some investors, right? So getting them to take me seriously, because once again, women aren't always taken seriously. They work the hardest and harder on their products, right? Because they have to, but they're not taken seriously. And so to try to find investors or partners or supporters, I use the face of Jeff, my real partner, to get me in the door. And guess what? It works. And then when they meet with us, it's me. Oh, surprise! Yeah, I'm a girl. Yeah, it's me. But you know what I mean? Like, because I am using him as the inroad, that helps me get in front of certain people, you know. But when it comes to anything that's woman owned or alignment for me, those are easy. Those doors are easy. But if we're talking PGA or men, very man focused, that's a little harder because women aren't taken seriously and they still aren't, you know? So they're not given that vantage point. So I think if you look at the funding numbers, I want to say women are like, and don't quote me, I want to say it's less than 10%. I want to say it's like 8 or 6% of funding go to women, which is so unfortunate. Um, so again, for a woman, you're going to hear more no's, right? You're going to hear more no's, but that's okay. It makes you stronger and you can buckle up and you can learn how to overcome those objections, you know? And I think at the end of the day, if you have a solid business idea, if you have a solid plan, okay, nobody can say no to that. I don't care if you're a man or a woman or whatever, purple. No one can say no to that. So it's really having that mentality that I am just as equal as anybody else, right? And I have an opportunity just like anybody else, you know? And so, I think again, for a woman entrepreneur, there's still judgments, but let me add a twist to this because the twist I want to add is really, really a great one. Because I'll tell you what, when I was in media with a title, okay, I was not given as much respect as I am as an owner. And I won't I love that. I love that as an entrepreneur, I'm just as respected as any other entrepreneur, man, woman, whatever. That is beautiful. And that's in the community of entrepreneurs. When entrepreneurs talk to entrepreneurs, that is so cool. And I didn't have that when I was in media because I had that glorified title, Director of Sales. Nobody cared. But when you have CEO or owner, that is like, it's powerful. It's so powerful. And you use it to its vantage point and you use it for good and you use it to help and you use it to mentor, right? All the great things that you will get in reverse. All the good things.
Absolutely. That's powerful. Um, I mean, I wouldn't, after I looked at your resume today and all the things you've done in media, and then I listened to you with Golf Buddy, I'd be like, she really knows what she's doing because there's a lot of experience behind that,
Right.
and you can tell.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, golfing buddy gets me excited, and I like being excited. Does it keep me away from my other priorities? No, no. Advertise pays the bills. Advertise, you know what I mean? Like it pays the bills. I still got to do that. You know, golfing buddy is just that passion project that one day it's going to take off. I always say to everybody that I meet, I would say, golfing buddy is the number one golfing social app. It is because there is not any other, so I can say it.
That's true. I don't know of
but
any other.
but I feel like I'm manifesting it, right? It's the number one golfing app to socially network
It's
with
the
other golfers.
Facebook app of golf.
There you go.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
So, couple more here, but transitioning out of the military, it's not an easy thing. I think we probably both have quite a few peers that can tell some of the same struggles of when they
mhm.
got out and tried to find a job or tried to figure things out or tried to just, find out what their purpose is. What advice would you have for a transitioning veteran who's looking to get out, in 6 to 12 months?
Yeah. I was really lucky because remember, I chased a boy who got out of the military before I did. And that's who I lived with and was part of his community. So to me, community is so important, because if you don't have the support of your community, right? You don't have the resources, you don't have the things that are going to support you for that transition, because that transition is a big transition, because you're so comfortable and you're so used to this other community that you were part of every day. When you wake up, you're a part of that community. You go to bed, you're part of that community. And when you transition into the real world, I always say the real world, you know, that is a different environment, because you can be alone. You can be alone for a long, long time, you know, and it can feel isolating. It can feel like you no longer belong up to a part of this special club anymore, right? Because that club had your back, and that club supported you, and, you know, they were around you all the time. I always think of the military as kind of like a version of a fraternity. You know, to me, it was a version of fraternity. All these people that I got to know, that I grew up with, because I mean, that was when I was from 18 to 21. You know, that's when I was growing as an adult. And when you separate from that, you stay connected to all these people, but you have to learn to stand on your feet when you go into that real life situation where you have to get a real job, and you have to take orders from someone who probably isn't as decorated as your supervisor was. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
that can be a little tough. And I went through that, where I had a few really broken-ended jobs because I was trying to find my way. And when I got out of the military, still going to school at that one point, but then when I moved, I didn't go to school, and my mission was to get a job and then go to UT, the university, to finish my MBA. But as I was doing that, I just couldn't find anything that was really a good fit, right? So I had a lot of like odd in part-time jobs, and mostly in banking, unfortunately. And it really gave me a sour taste. It did. I hate to say it. It gave me a sour taste because it was tough. It's a tough job. And then you're just, you don't know anybody. You're trying to get used to this whole new transition and environment. And, you know, it can be a little painful at times, you know. But again, I was lucky because I had the guy that I was with, and he already transitioned. So he was helping me and referring me to a lot of resources and different, you know, organizations that he was a part of when he transitioned out, you know. And he went to college and was working on his master's when I moved there too. School was always like a focus. Like if you transition from one and you go to another, you know, I don't think I would ever go to school forever, but it was similar, right? It was similar to military, because it was, you know, a group of people that had the same alignment. You're trying to get an education, or you're trying to move towards something, you know?
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like today, college, to me, if I had to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't have done it, other than the fact that it's community, right? You're meeting other people that might be able to help you open up some doors later on in life.
Yes, absolutely.
Being a doctor, being an accountant, being an engineer, it's required. You got to go to school and learn the stuff. But, you know, for business, I mean, a lot of times you're going to learn more on your own, I think, than you will through a textbook.
Oh, no, absolutely. Hands down. Hands down. Totally agree. And I agree. If I had stayed on the route that I was going to stay on to be an attorney, I would still have gone to school. But once I got that job that I fell in love with, I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I was done with school. It's like, no.
Absolutely.
Know? Yeah.
Well, before we head out here, you know, what is the impact or legacy that Kat Ramirez wants to leave in the world and the community?
I think the legacy or the impact that I want to leave is that be all you can be. I'm kidding. But you know what? It's kind of around that, because, you know, It's really, really strange that that commercial affected me at such a young age. And look what it has done and taken me as the course of my life. If I had to, do a biography about myself, it really has run, I've done a lot of things. I traveled all over the world because I wanted to, right? I joined the military because I said, hey, I want to travel the world. Well, I didn't get to do it there. So I did it on my own when I had that great cushy TV job. I said, I'm going to travel all over the world, and I did. And I said that I was going to be the GM of a TV station. I didn't do that. But what I did do was become the CEO of my own company, right? So I think the thing that people need to think about is think about the path that you choose, and just understand and know that there are going to be opportunities that come in front of you or hit you that may be a good choice or an option to look at. Like, don't be closed-minded. Think about if I was closed-minded about starting my own entrepreneur when I hit the glass ceiling. I thought about being an entrepreneur because I thought nobody is ever going to control my destiny, ever. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, I don't ever want someone to control my destiny. So how do I control mine? And I created the entrepreneur role, right? And the same with when I saw the opportunity to start my 10X business broker, I saw my clients saying, Kat, I can't do it again. I can't do startup again. I'm too old. I want to retire. I want to get out of this. And I saw the writing on the wall, and I'm like, I need to get into business brokering because my clients are going to sell their businesses. So they need my help. So again, it's an opportunity. So don't think that all your, make the lemonade out of lemons. Don't always think that it's always going to be sour. What you're dealing with is a bad deck of cards. No, it's how you look at it, right? It's how you look at it and how do you position it so that it works in your favor. And that's what you need to do. Just like with Golfing Buddy, that just came, ding, 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 when I said, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you had a golfing app? It was like, ding, ding, ding. Oh, my God, we should just do that. And, crazy that nobody trademarked Golfing Buddy. Crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
You did.
Right. It's just like, but you have to be so tuned in and take advantage of it. Don't just talk about it. You can't just talk about it. I think that's probably the biggest thing. When people say, do this or do that, or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Well, do it. Don't just talk about it. Just do it, because you never know. You might be very successful at it, especially if you really want to do it.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this one, check out these videos right over here. And we'll see you in the next video.